Welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Kathy. I am mentally ill. I have bipolar type schizoaffective disorder, agoraphobia, panic disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. Um, so I do this vlog. I try to do this vlog. I can't make any promises. Every Monday through Thursday night. In the hopes of reaching out and, letting people know that they're not alone in their battles. For a very long time I felt alone. Today I'm going to talk about my two suicide attempts and why I refuse to do it again. Once again, can't make any promises. You never know what's going to happen, but excuse me. Anyway, the first time I tried to commit suicide, I don't remember dates very well. I mean, even down to the year, because a lot of the first few years of my mental illness after diagnosis and development, are really fuzzy, which I've been told by medical professionals that's perfectly normal. So anyway, I won't do timelines because I don't remember. My first time I tried it, I wrote a note, and cut my wrists. And we're gonna leave that alone right there because I don't want to trigger anybody. The second time I did it, I overdosed, or tried to overdose on a medication that apparently is very difficult to overdose on, but it did make me feel horrible. I survived both attempts, obviously, and I have a kitty on my lap. Say hi to the people. Oh, she winked at you. Hi, people. Put me down, Mom. I don't like that. Okay, sit down. There you go. Good girl. But I refuse to do it again. As long as I am of sound mind and body, I refuse to let my mental illness win. That's what suicide to me is losing the war. I fight battle after battle every day, and there are days where I suddenly get that urge again, that little thought in the back of my head saying, you know what, it's not going to get any better, so what's the point of going on? But surviving both attempts taught me a lot. First of all, it taught me that there were people in this world that cared about me, whether I believed it or not at the time, which I didn't believe it at the time. But I saw the hurt on my mom and dad's face when they first saw me the first time I tried. Or the second time I tried. Hi, kitty. She's looking at me. She's being cute. I saw the hurt on their faces, and I felt absolutely horrible that I could do that to somebody without thinking about it. The second attempt, I survived with the overdose. Not only were people hurt, but surviving it and having all that medication in my system made the next few days absolutely miserable. I was in a hospital. I was taken to the hospital when I was found by my ex-husband. He had found me, and he tried getting me to wake up, and he tried asking me how many pills I took, what I took, stuff like that, and I couldn't really give him any direct answers because I was really that out of it already. And so he took me to the hospital. Well, I think he called an ambulance. Either way, I ended up in the hospital. I ended up in the psych ward. And the next few days, I felt like I had an elephant sitting on me. I felt like a slug. I could barely move. I couldn't eat without throwing it up. If I could eat at all. I was down to like ice chips and water just to keep myself hydrated. And if you see my arm moving, it's because I'm petting my cat. And it was, I think I had ran a fever. And I personally never run fevers. I even had appendicitis last year, and I didn't run a fever. And, I mean, I baffled the nurses and doctors. They were like, how can you have appendicitis and not have a fever? So I was like, I don't know. I mean, you guys are the doctors, you tell me. Anyway, I ran a fever, I felt really sluggish, I felt I had no energy, I slept a lot. I mean, a lot. It was kind of like having the flu, a cold, and bronchitis, and laryngitis, and arthritis, and any kind of itis, all at the same time. It was bad, and even my roommate in the hospital would occasionally come over and just shake me real quick, just to make sure I was still breathing, you know, to make sure I was still alive. And also, you know, I think about what would happen if I did try again and succeeded. A lot of things would happen. I know to my fiance, he can't afford the rent here alone, and this is about the cheapest place in the area to rent from, so he would end up either going back to his home state and hopefully being taken in by one of his siblings, or he would end up in a nursing home because he too is mentally ill, or he could end up homeless, which he's done that before. He would also lose our cat because there's no way he'd be able to afford to take care of her, and also he's mobility disabled. He can't get around very easily, so taking care of a cat while you're disabled like that is kind of difficult. And, you know, being homeless and stuck in a wheelchair, that's, you know, it's just too much. My mom, even now, she works her butt off to make sure I am safe and I am healthy. Me and my fiance, we live in one apartment, and my mom actually lives right down the hall in her own apartment. But every time I have a doctor's appointment, every time I have to pick up medication, every time I feel bad, I can call her. She is right there. If anybody can get in my head when I'm having an episode, whether it's psychotic or depressive or manic, if anybody can get in my head, it's my mom. Now, let me think here. What else? There's also the chance of trying suicide and surviving, but not coming out of it. You could become a vegetable. I mean, I'd hate to use that word, because to me that sounds a little demeaning in this way, but you really could become a vegetable. Living off life support, being in a coma, and just imagine what that would put your loved ones through. Knowing that you're alive, but they can't talk to you because you can't hear them. I mean, they could talk to you, but you wouldn't be able to hear them, you know? You'd be gone. You'd be a body, just ticking along, waiting for the body itself to give out. Let's see. I know that when you're in that spot and you are contemplating suicide, you probably feel like nobody cares enough about you to want you around, and I can guarantee that is not the case. And there are plenty of places that you can reach out to get help. We've called 911, you know, your emergency number. That's what Rob called when he found me after the drug overdose. He called 911 and they came and got me and took me to the hospital. There are hotlines for just about every civilized country I could think of has a suicide hotline or 2 or 3. I know there's with the suicide hotlines too, they don't make it a rule that you have to be suicidal to call them, just that you know, you're thinking about it, you're feeling bad, you need somebody to talk to, and there's nobody around or whatever to talk to. That's what they're there for. They will help you through this. They will not say, oh, you're not suicidal, so we're not going to talk to you. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. And if you think you're a burden now, because that's a lot of the mindset that I went through, is I thought I was a burden, Everybody would be better off without me. They wouldn't have to worry about me anymore. They wouldn't have to take me to doctor's appointments. They wouldn't have to pick up my medication. They wouldn't have to check up on me and make sure I take my medication. You know, just all that thought was going through my head. And any burden that you're putting on people now alive pales in comparison to the burden that they're going to go through if you commit suicide. Because even if you write the most detailed note in the world, everybody is going to somehow second guess either the note or themselves. What did I say? What did I do? What didn't I do? What could I have done? What did I do wrong? You know, everybody's going to blame themselves eventually. And you don't want to put people through that. You have friends and family. Well, maybe you don't have family. Maybe you don't have friends. But there's still help out there. And I just know that, and another way to be a burden is back to the vegetable thing. Your family would have to, you know, worry about how they're going to pay all the bills, the medical bills. They will want to visit you over and over and over and just pray and hope and cry and plead with God to wake you up, and it just may not happen. So basically that's pretty much the gist of why I refused to commit suicide. I tried it, it didn't work, and you know, I thought I was rock bottom. I thought nothing was ever going to get any better. But I worked at it. I worked with my therapist. I worked with my psychiatrist. I worked with my parents up until my dad passed away. Now I still work with my mom. I work with my sister. I work with my fiance. We all put in a lot of hard work to keep me healthy. And things have improved a lot since I decided to start sticking up and advocating for myself. I now have my own apartment with my fiance and a wonderful cat, and I have a kitchen full of food. I have a roof over my head. I have family and friends that care about me. I have a great medical team and psychiatric team. And, you know, and also, I mean, if there is a time where I start feeling that bad again, I will either call one of the hotlines, or I will call one of my doctors, or I will call my mom. Or if it's really bad, I'll call 911, you know. I'll do everything in my power to stop it. I've been in mental wards more times than I can count. And that's just kind of part of my reality. Is with my mental illnesses, I will spend many, many times in the mental ward. It's just something I've learned to accept, that every once in a while, you know, just like any other illness, any other chronic illness is going to send you to a doctor once in a while, or a hospital once in a while. Mental illnesses, just like those, every once in a while you're gonna need some extra help. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to be ashamed of with that. If you feel like you need the help and you feel like you can't do it on your own, you get on the phone with somebody who can help you, who can either help you themselves or take you to somebody else who can help you. You know, the last time I felt this bad, or bad enough to contemplate suicide, I told my fiance and my mom, and my mom took me to the local hospital that had a great mental ward, and I was admitted for about 5 days. They did a few medication changes. I went through some group therapy. I went through some individualized therapy. And it worked. It worked. But I know at some point in the future I'm going to relapse again, and I'm going to have to go to the hospital. But, you know, being in the hospital really isn't as bad as you think it would be. I mean, yeah, it can get pretty boring. Like, I did a video a few days ago about what to pack for a hospital visit in the mental hospital or the mental ward. Because, yeah, it can get pretty boring if they don't have a lot of groups. Some hospitals have non-stop groups from morning till dinner. And some hospitals just have 2 or 3 groups. Some hospitals don't have any groups. I don't get those hospitals. I think I'm a big advocate for having group therapy, especially educational group therapy. You know, teach them about their medications, teach yourself. You know, if you're diagnosed with a mental illness, educate yourself. That is like the most important thing I can think of when it comes to the mental diagnosis. Like, for instance, my fiance has bipolar disorder, so when I found out, I got a book about bipolar disorder, and it's a good book. It's a thick book. It has a lot of information. I have books about anxiety disorders. I have books about schizophrenia. I still have some of my old college psychology textbooks because I was, you know, in college before I got sick. I still have them. I reference them all the time. And I'm thinking about even going out to the local college bookstore and buying a more up-to-date version, but I gotta kind of save up for that because those college textbooks can get pretty expensive. And if you don't have the books, go on the internet. It's everywhere. Or even better than that, even better than books or the internet, is don't be afraid to talk to your doctor, your psychiatrist, your therapist. If you have a social worker, you know, ask them questions. Don't be afraid to be, you know, proactive in your treatment. That's part of your role. That's part of your responsibility when treating mental illness. Is you have to be proactive. You have to put in the work. And in the end, it is more than worth it. It is more than worth it. Let me tell you, you know, you'll have your suicidal moments, but they will pass. They will pass, and you will get better as long as you do the work and make the effort and care about yourself as much as you care about everybody else. So that's all I'm going to say for tonight. And like I said, if you liked this video, if you found it informative, please click subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I will try to put some hotline phone numbers for different countries or whatever in the description below. So if you do feel like you've got to call somebody, the numbers are going to be down there. So I hope you guys are doing good, and if you're not, please reach out to somebody. You know, don't take this all on yourself, because that's not fair. That's not fair. If you need to reach out to a professional, reach out to a professional. So that's it for now. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't do a vlog last night. The night before last night, I got a whopping 1 hour of sleep. And so yesterday was kind of not good. Needless to say, last night I got more sleep, so I'm better today. So, alright, so later on, either this week or next week, I might be doing a collaboration. I have no teeth, so it's really hard for me to say certain words. I have a collaboration with Eric at David Industries. Not sure what day we're going to do it, but hopefully it'll be pretty soon. And so stay tuned for that. Also, a reminder, I am having a giveaway. I don't have the book on me at the moment, but when I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to pick one of my subscribers at random, and they're going to win a copy of the book Are You Okay by Katie Morton. It's a good book. I'm almost done reading it. I don't read a lot because of my eyes. My eyesight's really bad, and reading too much gives me a headache, so yeah. Anyway, so we'll talk to you next time, guys. Have a good one.